Oh, fine.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and start. This is the Leavenworth Planning Commission meeting for June 7th, 2021. I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting. First thing is to roll call is to establish a quorum, and I've looked at the people who are here, and we do have all commissioners who are here, so thank you. We do have a quorum present, so thank you for attendance. Second thing I'll call to order is our approval of minutes. Our last minutes was on May 3rd, 2021. I have reviewed those. Does any commissioner have any modification changes or anything for the May 3rd, 2021 minutes?
I do not.
If so, I'll entertain a motion for approval of those minutes.
Motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, thank you. Our meeting tonight, there's three things on the agenda. First of all, I would like to, again, thank so much to Commissioner Chairman Mike Burke for all his years of dedication and service to our commission, and we wish him the best on that one. And the first thing, we have three new business agenda. Election of vice president, so will be one of them. Second thing is the 2021-19 sub, the branches edition, number 3 final plat. And Mr. Rowley is here. Consider a final plat for the branch edition number 3. We have reviewed that and seen that in the past, so we're aware of that. The third one is the final 2030 comprehensive plan. Conduct a public hearing to approve resolution number 2021-01 adopting the 2030 comprehensive plan. So those will be the only three things we will be discussing tonight. Let's go to the first one on our agenda item. Shouldn't take too long. Is the election of vice chairman. Since I moved up and there's my position of vacant for vice chairman. So with that, I'll open it up to the commissioners to see if someone's going to be generous, weak, loving, and say, I'll accept vice chairman in my absence, say without being forced to go. Someone says, I'll take it. In my absence, I don't miss too many meetings. In my 6 years on this commission, I've missed very few meetings, so I try not to miss them. But we need to have a vice chairman on that one. Do I have a person, or does anyone want to nominate, or it'd be better if someone said they'll step up?
Give it to me. if the board agrees.
I second it.
This is
Third it.
There's an acceptance that's been there. I heard a second on that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
I bet you on record is you don't miss meetings.
Thank you.
He's
Thank
gonna
you
miss
for
the next
that.
one now.
We will coordinate that.
Well done.
Don't change
I
yourself.
always say that to Commissioner Burke. I don't want you to be gone a lot, but still, it's the thank you on that one. I appreciate that. Without torture, you stepped up on that. So thank you on that one. Next one is the 2021-19 sub, the branches addition to number 3 final plat. Again, most of the commissioners have reviewed this, have seen it. And Mr. Rowley is here after that one. So consider a final plat for the branch edition number 3. With that, let me turn over to Julie for an update for the commissioners. Or Michelle.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you said, this is a request for the final plat of the branches edition number 3. Planning Commission did review the preliminary plat for this project back at the April 5th, 2021 Planning Commission meeting and voted unanimously to recommend approval of it at that time. There have been no substantial changes since then. So it is a 45 lot plat, zoned R16 high density single family. It's just over 25 acres in size. This is just to the north of the existing branches subdivision. So if you have any questions for me, I can answer those. And as you said, Mike Riley, who's the developer on this property, is here as well, and he can answer any that you might have.
Thank you. Does any commissioner have any questions or clarification to Julie before we ask Mr. Riley for any question we have with Mr. Riley? Does anyone have any clarification or additional information for Julie?
I do, Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
We talked last time in April about the fire lane or the fire department having access through a green zone there. So any updates on that, or how can we understand it better as a group?
Yep, so I know that the engineer has been in contact with our fire department on that. The fire department, their fire code kind of sets what the regulations are for needing to be compacted and whether or not it's blocked, that type of thing. So the access is through tract A there on the south side. There is an open tract adjoining that in the existing branches subdivision. So the thought would be that it would kind of go all the way through that green space. So yeah, I know the engineer has been in contact with the fire department and they've pretty much worked out how that will be constructed once that's put in.
You happy with that? Thank you. Does any other commissioner have any questions for Julie on this plat?
No.
Mr. Riley is present. With that, I guess I'd like to have Mr. Riley step up to the podium and again, give us your name for the record, sir, and any updates you'd like to give the commissioners. We'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Mike Riley, 608 Delaware, Leavenworth, Kansas, here on behalf of Riley Development. Thank you for your time tonight. Really no substantial changes, as Julie mentioned. We have worked with staff on the turf road. It is cumbersome how it was developed. We are not the original developer of this site. It is cumbersome given that tract B, there are two houses on each side of it, and for us to put a public road through there at the present time would really, I think, hurt the value of those two properties pretty substantially. So we have worked with staff and fire department to develop a turf road situation where it'll be for emergency purposes only. And there'll be signage dedicated for that, so that in the event that 22nd Street is blocked off and there is an emergency situation back there, the emergency personnel will know that they will be able to access that area via that turf road. And that really is the sole purpose of the two entrance code. Our hope is to be able to take access east at some point in time through the West Star site, but that is yet to be determined.
Sir, if you don't mind, what is the timetable looking like on the branches for start to completion that you I know it's subject to change on that, Mike, but what does it look like for?
Yeah, as soon as we get approval, materials are ordered. I anticipate mobilizing excavation probably within 2 weeks.
Okay, wow.
And we will be rolling. It takes about 12 weeks right now to get storm sewer manholes, and about 4 weeks to get sanitary manholes. So we're in a little bit of a time crunch to get this in before winter, so we can get some foundations in. I know that seems like a long way away, given that it's just the first 90 degree today. But time ticks, and we'll be pushing to get this thing done and get some foundations in before winter. So we're rolling quick.
Thank you, sir. Does any commissioner have any questions for Mr. Riley?
Curious, yeah, you had, I think price point of about 349, average.
Price point, James, right now, I think the answer to your question would be we're probably starting at 349. Given where we're at with lumber materials, I was just sharing with Julie, not only price, but just availability. We've got 8 houses in West Glen that are sold. People are living in them where we can't deliver garage door openers, of all things. It's the craziest thing in the world. We ordered them 14 weeks ago, and they're still not here. So it's weird what's happening right now. I think 350 will be a starting point, and it'll go up from there.
Wow. Anyone? Anyone else? Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we've reviewed this before, as Julie mentioned, 45 lots, April 5th, final approval. We've already discussed this. We've seen it. I don't think there's any surprises that we haven't reviewed on this 2021-19 sub, the Branches Edition, number 3 final plat. This Leavenworth Planning Commission can approve it. We can ask for to delay it to additional time, or we can approve or disapprove it. So I will take a motion from any commissioner on the recommendation for this final plat.
I'll put forth a motion to approve the final plat for the Branches Edition number 3 as is.
Thank you. Second has been taken. All commissioners, I'll say, raise your hand for a yea or approved. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I know the city has spent a lot of time and effort on the final 2030 comprehensive plan. It's very extensive. Some of you've seen it. It's very long in depth for a city like Leavenworth that does surprises. So this is to conduct a public hearing to approve resolution 2021 adopting the 2030 comprehensive plan. As I understand and talking to Julie, the commissioners would then make a recommendation to approve this plan as submitted. And therefore it would go to the city commissioners for final actions, correct?
Yep, so, state statute requires that the planning commission adopt a resolution, approving the comprehensive plan, and then it'll go to the city commission to be formally adopted by ordinance. So, As you said, we've been working on this for a little bit, well, about a year and a half, and just so kind of for your benefit, Bill, since you weren't here with all of it, I know most of you guys were all involved in this. There was pretty, or extensive as we could get with public involvement, and meetings and getting everything for that. So we wrapped it up a couple of months ago. On April 5th, you all saw the kind of the draft version of the final document. And there was some discussion at that time about changing some of the land uses mainly up along Metropolitan, and we had talked about making that more sort of mixed use in that area shown on the future land use map. So Shockey made all the changes that we had talked about at that time, and City Commission had talked about it after you guys said and concurred with all the discussions you had here. So we didn't print them out for everybody. It's about 140 pages. So the link to the full document is on the website. Hopefully you guys were all able to take a look at it there. But so again, this is just, we are required by state statute to have a public hearing. I know we don't have anybody in attendance, but we have to kind of check that box. And then approve a resolution adopting the plan. And then again, it'll go to City Commission to be adopted by ordinance.
Thank you. So beyond the actions of the planning commission of our recommendation to approve that to the city commissioners, then will the city commissioners have any final hearing before it's adopted?
They have to, I don't believe they conduct a public hearing. The public hearing is tonight.
Right. That's
So
what I
like
thought.
an ordinance for special use or rezoning,
Right.
this is the board that holds the public hearing and sort of provides all the input and discussion.
Right.
You make your approval and then it goes to the city commission just for final adoption.
So we've had no input, no phone calls, no emails, no anything
Nope.
related to anyone wanted to come and voice any concern on a public hearing on this comprehensive plan.
Correct.
Does any other commissioners have any other questions before we vote on this, our role in the comprehensive plan at this level? Anyone have a comment or question on that or issue?
Yeah, and I go back to the one thing that I brought up, you know, when we initially went through this, it just, my concern is ensuring that we don't fall into the trap of building out so far that we, you know, like I said the last time, that concrete jungle type, you know, atmosphere. And I know with all the building that they have into the plan and everything, that they got that green space all built in. I just hope that we stick to that and make sure that we do keep that, because that kind of lends to that hometown feel of Leavenworth.
Right.
That we all love.
It's who we are.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Exactly. So.
That's a good point. How do we do that? How do we, as we approve construction, do we know how much green space will be left? Or at what point do we say we've approved so much concrete that
Right.
there isn't sufficient green space? Or-
So with the document like a comprehensive plan, that's kind of a high level, you know, here's the broad goals, here's what we envision, which, you know, kind of talks about, you know, what you brought up. And then, one thing that Shockey gave us was sort of a checklist, of all of those goals and actions that had been put into the plan, sort of pulled out into an easy, you know, format for us to work off of. And so, when you do something like a comprehensive plan, that's not really the end point of it, that's the start point. So then as staff, we'll take those goals and actions that came out of that plan, and we'll start working through those, updating regulations and policies and putting those into place, you know, to account for things like green space and, you know, buildable area, that type of thing, so that hopefully as we move forward with new subdivisions, those, you know, ideals that had been brought up with the comprehensive plan, we'll have been able to put regulations in place to address those prior to things coming to you. And then kind of that final check and balance, are the projects coming to you? So, you know, as we get subdivisions like this, you know, a plat coming through, you can look at this and say, you know, when we went through this comprehensive plan, we talked about having green space, there's, you know, I'm not seeing anything in here, we want to see X, Y, Z. So, as this type of board, you have the ability to do that if you see something come before you that you don't feel like those concerns have been addressed as they got through the staff process.
Does that answer your concern?
Somewhat.
I understand, and I was gonna make a comment on that. I think we at the planning commission then if we saw something in reference to what Julie was saying there, if we at this first level see something we see in conflict with green space, or then we could vote it down. We know the commissioners can still approve it, but our first level is if we see something we don't agree, we say no. Agree? I mean, that's where we're at.
Oh,
Okay.
again, I just see this,
I
or
agree.
just say there's 20 apartment complexes that wanna go up in these other concrete jungle type things, you know?
Hard issue to
50% of our
control.
land has gone toward concrete,
Yeah,
and we've got this much green space left. Where is that check and balance at?
Good
We are
point.
building more, that we're ensuring that we keep enough green space, or that we're creating.
Right,
There is no, okay, 25 acres here,
yep.
so we can make sure we preserve 25 acres here.
Yeah, and there's no hard and fast answer
Okay.
for that. It's, it's kind of on a, development by development basis. And for something like apartment complexes, you have to, balance a lot of, different needs. We're talking about, different housing type needs, different price point needs, versus, green space needs and, trying to make all that work for the city. So, and the comprehensive plan is something that is really intended to be reviewed annually to make sure that, those goals that we laid out going through that process are still in line with, what we want. So, it's not a static document that is just gonna, be sitting on the shelf. It's something that we'll be looking at and updating, and, the goal is to have that be sort of a living, breathing thing that we can work with.
I think the public works side will help too, because it affects the stormwater.
Absolutely.
Just some triggers in the environmental side.
Yeah.
Yeah, will go off.
Yeah.
if you need too much.
you good? Good point of balance, though, so it's a point we're taking on balance. Thank you. Is there any other discussion for any commissioners, Julie, or this topic on the comprehensive plan?
I am, a little concerned that no one's reached in to speak about it, for it, against it. It's a comprehensive plan, it talks about your future for the next decade plus, and no one's here.
I will tell you, that's sort of common.
That's what I was gonna ask,
Yes.
is this common? Okay,
Yes, that's
great,
pretty common.
okay.
As you know, it was a challenge doing public involvement over the last year anyway, because we couldn't do, in-person open houses and meetings like you would typically do with something like this. But this is pretty common. By the time you get through whatever public involvement process you have and you get to that end point of adopting it, everybody who typically is interested in being involved in something like this is kind of done. Like, okay, we came to the meetings and it's good. Sometimes you'll hear after the fact, like I know now there's talk about, Leavenworth County just finished theirs last year, and so now there's talk about, well, we didn't have a chance to participate and we don't like this, and, so, sometimes you'll get that after, but again, these types of documents are meant to be looked at and revised as you go forward. Market conditions don't stay the same, so, kind of is what it is.
I understand, I think it's incumbent on us to know and read,
Right.
mandatory read
Yeah.
that comprehensive plan, so that we can hold things accountable as we move forward, and then those following us in years to come
Yeah,
will actually hopefully be assigned that reading before they even get up here, but.
yeah,
Alright, I get it, and I was a part of the planning committee early.
Right.
Yep.
And a
Yeah,
lot of
the
hard,
planning
lot of hard work
commission
went
was-
into
yeah.
that, so. It's an impressive plan from my.
so
point of
we're
view.
happy with how it turned out, and, our consultant did a good job with the conditions we were dealing with, when we signed our contract with them. None of this had happened. We signed our contract in December of 19, and then, the world ended, and we just kind of did what we could do, so. But we're
One thing I
back.
can say in that is I know we in the planning commission with that joint meeting with the commissioners, the involvement with this, people are offered an opportunity to voice their input for that. So if people made a choice not to do that, that was their choice. But I know we had a lot of outside input on that plan and looked at other cities and things that was in the best interest of Leavenworth. So I feel it's a great plan. Is there any other discussion or questions, issues, concerns on this plan? If so, then I will take a motion to, one, we can approve the recommendation of this plan, of the final 2030 comprehensive plan, resolution number 2021, adopting this 2030 comprehensive plan. Take a motion to approve it. we can, if we had reasons to need more additional information, to defer it for additional information. Our 3 can vote no. I'll take a motion for my commissioner on any position you want to start with.
I say we approve the resolution of adoption of the 2030 comprehensive plan.
Thank you, sir. I need a second.
I second.
Okay, because of the importance of this, I would like to go through each commissioner by name, and you can vote on it, just to go on record on that with the, each commissioner, with Commissioner Whitson. Your vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Wong?
Aye.
Commissioner Murphy?
Aye.
Commissioner Burks?
Aye.
Commissioner Dix?
Aye.
I also vote yes, so motion is approved. Okay. That concludes the agenda items that we had for the June 17th meeting, so I appreciate the commissioners all being here. We still have one vacancy to be filled with that one, hopefully that we'll have that.
We do, yep. Wes Henning, who was one of our recent additions, had to resign. I think he took a new job and had to move out of town, so we just filled our position with Bill, and then now we have another one to fill, so I know Mayor Bowder is working on that already. So.
July 4th is Sunday. The holiday will be July 5th. As of this moment, I'm told that we do not have any agenda items for the July meeting as of right now.
Yeah, I think all of our deadlines have passed, haven't they? Yep,
Okay.
so we should not be having a July meeting.
No, okay, July. Okay, that concludes our meeting today. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you.